Hey guys, welcome everyone to this episode of Digital for Everyone. I'm your host, Robert Dugans, and as always, we're going to be discussing different topics in digital to show how they benefit businesses when it's done right. This week we have a very interesting topic that I think is pretty cool. It's called blogging, using blogs as a marketing tool. Hey Kerai, hey Paris James, hey Steph Telemark. And we're going to be going live all the way from St.Maarten. She's joining us shortly. Hi, you have your own theme music, Kenty?
Hi, how are
Hi,
you
hi.
guys doing? How are you?
Good, good. And yourself?
I'm great, excellent,
Good.
excited.
Yes.
So,
All right. So, guys, just to recap, Digital for Everyone dives into one topic every week, and we talk about it from a perspective of how does that benefit your business. This week we have Kenty joining us all the way out from St.Maarten, and she's going to be talking to us about blogs as a marketing tool. So, just to introduce Kenty, a lot of action going on over there, Kenty.
yeah, the baby is out wilding out while his father is wrapping up things to come get him. So, excuse me, he's a
Not a
little bit
problem.
trying to get oh well, he's here now. So, this is live and direct.
Not a problem. That's
So,
the issues with
yeah,
life.
yeah, yeah. So,
So,
all right,
guys,
thank you.
to introduce Kenty, she's a marketing and branding strategist with more than 15 years' experience in the marketing industry. She's the founder of St.Maarten's first plus-size blog, Kerai Kreative Style. She says that becoming a blogger has expanded her network and added value to a dynamic marketing tool. So, Kenty, I want to hand it over to you. But basically, a lot of people don't put the effort into blogging. I've spoken to clients and I'm like, you guys should start a blog. There's tons of benefits in it. And they're just like, that's so much effort. So talk to me about blogging.
So, hi guys, once again, thank you for joining us in this live, and we hope that you have some, great takeaways at the end of the evening.
Definitely.
Like Robert say, blogging is something that is actually underestimated by a lot of businesses, right? It's also a cultural thing because we don't read a lot in the Caribbean, unfortunately.
Mhm.
So I think that is also one of the factors why businesses are not keen or prone to think about a blog as a marketing tool, right?
Yeah.
So me being a marketer, of course, and having all of this experience and being able to have dissect the consumer pattern and even
Mhm.
the service pattern in different areas, decided, well, I'm going to blog for something that is not quite available yet on St. Martin.
Okay.
So that is how you would start a blog first, thinking, okay, what is it that I want to write about that is not available yet, or that is very minimal in terms of topic or available information out there? That is the
So
first question that I ask myself.
okay, so you want to do something, even if you're in a very competitive space, you want to do something that from a perspective that people aren't taking right now.
Correct.
Okay.
That is the best approach if you want to start blogging within your industry, within your business, or have a blogging. Because if you realize that a lot of websites, you would have a blogging part, right? And
Yeah.
that happens very often. And although not as engaging, you have content there. Most of the time, it is relevant to whatever is happening, for that company or in the
Right.
industry.
Okay. All right.
So that would be the first step that you would have to actually identify, like, okay, what do I want to blog about? What do I want to inform my target audience? And once you know that, of course,
Right.
about what do I write about to keep them engaged and use it as an educational platform and also as a tool to promote your product and your brand and create awareness of what you do.
Right. Right. So that's all right. So we pick a perspective and we're gonna talk about it and we're gonna go forward with it. And what else about blogging? So what would be the key elements of sort of starting and maintaining a blog in your opinion?
So, first of all, like we said, we have to identify our target, our niche,
Right.
right?
Hmm.
Because there's so much of information on the internet and everybody is making a lot of noise. So you
Right.
have to be able to stand out with the type of noise that you're making to the people that you want to engage. So first, finding out who's your niche. Secondly, it would be develop unique content, and
Okay.
therefore you would have to do some research, of course, on the type
Mhm.
of blogger that before I decided to be a plus size blogger, I did a lot of research. I followed other bloggers,
Okay.
not only regionally but also in the US, Australia, London, Caribbean
Okay.
bloggers based in the
Okay.
UK or in Europe or in the US. So I tried to find out what was working for them and how they were
Right.
attracting their audience, their
Mhm.
content, their frequency, right? So you
Okay.
have to design that. So your niche, develop your content and your frequency. And of course, it has to be relevant to what you're going to blog about, obviously.
Okay. So, I mean, I think the big hesitation for a lot of brands would be, I don't consider myself a writer. A lot of company owners and brand owners don't necessarily consider themselves writers. And what would you say to those people who that is their biggest sort of feedback? I'm worried because I don't think I have anything maybe necessarily unique to say, or that I can't write well enough that it would be a good blog. What would you say to that?
So if you're afraid of having to find out how to start to write, because some of us
Mhm.
have a writers by nature, we can
Right.
express ourselves very easily on pen and paper. We experienced that last night when we were talking
Right.
about getting some information from you for a press
Yes.
release, and he was like, "Oh my God, I'm a terrible writer."
I
And
can talk,
so
but I cannot write.
so the
Mhm.
first block would be to get a content or get a topic that you're really
Mhm.
passionate about, because once you
Okay.
have that, you will be able to come up with content and ideas or research it, because remember at the beginning, it's kind of a rough diamond in the making. You don't know where you're going
Right.
with your story, you don't know where you're going with your content, but you want to be able to build it up and create an authentic, and we're going to talk about authenticity later on,
Okay.
create create an authentic piece that is going to engage your community that you are actually trying to reach, right? And maintain
Okay.
them there, reading your blog as well.
Mhm.
So I would say find that topic that drives you to research, that drives you to feel intrigued, that drives you
Mhm.
to find out more, and that actually you want to use as an education or as
Mhm.
a communication tool that you can piggyback on for your business.
Okay. Okay. I see that. Do you? I mean, all right, your experience with blogging. How have you found that benefiting your business or something like that? Can you? I guess if you, I'm trying to ask if you could quantify it. What would you say the impact that your blogging has had on your business? If you could try to at
So
least.
maybe not quantified in terms of
Mhm.
value, but I can
Right.
definitely quantify it in terms of network expansion, brand
Okay.
awareness, right?
Hmm.
Collaborations. So
Right.
um, it is very important to use those techniques to build back your brand, because remember, once you put yourself out there, you're going to
Mhm.
collaborate with other people that have followers, that have readers, that have audience, so you're
Okay.
tapping into their pool actually,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
And vice versa. And it doesn't necessarily have to be, of course, the ideal thing is always to be relatable or relevant or at least as close as possible. But I've done collaborations with companies that have nothing to do with plus size or have anything to do with marketing, just pure of me
Okay.
reaching out. So that could also be very interesting to do.
So talking about that, so for you, blogging gives you a collaboration and a networking opportunity, right?
Mm-hmm.
It exposes you to people that, as you said, may not even be in your niche, but may want to work with you. Um,
Correct.
what would you say? Well, how would you sort of get started, right? I know that that's a little bit off topic, but a lot of people, I know WordPress is sort of like that's the site that you go on to start blogging, but having experience in this, what would you recommend to someone just starting on, who wants to sort of try it out, that maybe
I
doesn't
think
have a website?
I started actually with WordPress myself.
Okay.
After doing a few research and looking into, okay, what would be the best user friendly, because there's a difference between being a marketer and being an IT savvy.
No,
So
definitely, definitely,
definitely.
right?
So once you understand that, you'll be able to get that, okay, I need to get this blog going, what is the
Mhm.
easiest and most effective way, but also user friendly, that I can manage my blog and understand what is happening in the back office, as we call it, right?
Okay.
So managing your blog from WordPress, I would recommend start with that one first.
Okay.
With something like WordPress because it's very user friendly. It's also very affordable, right?
Mhm.
It has a variety and a very extensive range of templates that you can use in thousands of industries.
Okay.
So I definitely would recommend WordPress.
Okay. Jamila is just chiming in and saying that Kenty, she's still waiting on your email.
Oh
So,
my God, I owe you that email. I know. I'm eyes closed emoji. I'm gonna
well,
touch. I promise I'm gonna touch back base with you as soon as this life is over, and we're gonna touch base.
Kenty,
I
we
promise.
lost a little bit of your audio. You sounded very far away at the moment.
Can you hear me better?
It's still very low.
Let me see what's going on here.
Maybe the headphones came out.
Let me
Perhaps
see. Better? Better now?
Mm-mm,
Nothing? Oh
not as good.
no. And we was going good just now.
So I'm not
Better?
sure what's going on there.
Better?
Nope. Jamila, you embarrassed the audio out of the
Oh my
live.
God.
Okay. Not to worry, Kenzie. If you wanna maybe I don't know if you wanna disconnect and reconnect.
Disconnect
Nicole.
and now?
Oh, you guys can hear her fine?
Okay. Yes?
Is it me?
Maybe
Okay.
it's you.
I don't think so, but I
No?
turn on my volume. Okay. Well, if you guys can hear, perfect. We had a question from Nicole Kissoon. Do you have tips to save time with creating content for blogging?
Okay. So content creation, of course, is one of the most important things for your blog. What
Mm-hmm.
works for me is having a schedule.
Mm-hmm.
So what I do, I create a monthly schedule. I'm a mom of two guys, so I have to be realistic. So I juggle many hats, and what I do in order to structure that for me, because blogging can become very overwhelming. It can take over your life.
Yeah.
And blogging and marketing as a combination could be lethal. So
Of course.
I have learned to have to pace myself and also get, the evil eye for my partner. Like, listen, you've been on this thing for, the week and we haven't seen you. So
Mm-hmm.
the best thing that I could do in terms of time is create a content schedule. I have one available. I can share it with you guys after the live and then put it somewhere on our Google and you guys can download it. That's fine. So a content schedule that you can do on a weekly or monthly basis, whichever works for you better.
Okay.
For me, monthly, it works better. And what I do, I identify the topics that I want to do per weekly. So then I have a template that tells me, okay, topic, research, amount of hours that I'm going to spend, deadline that I'm going to submit, proofread, because all of that is part of it. And I'm going to go down the line of some of the stuff that you have to do before you actually go live. Proofreading is also one of the most essential things because copy paste can go wrong so very bad.
Our newspapers don't always proofread their stuff. So yeah.
Yes, and we know that. We know how that could go. So I would say schedule. I would also say try to work in advance. So I try to do like for a quarter.
Okay.
Which is ambitious.
As much as that.
Yes,
okay.
I try to do for a quarter. So plan it. And also another thing is research relevant days, for instance, that are important to your blog or your industry or your topic. I do fashion and women and a lot of stuff. So for instance, last week, Saturday was National Lipstick Day. So yeah.
Oh yeah, there's a day for everything now.
There's a day for everything. And of course, you're not going to jump on every bandwagon because you don't have the time for that. But you can piggyback. That's one of the ways that you can use a marketing tool to piggyback on exposure, piggyback on a trend, piggyback on a trend.
Yeah, you ride the wave. Okay.
Correct. And you ride a wave until you think it's really, lucrative for you. So, so that's one. Remain relevant as well. Do depth research. I do research almost every day, to be honest with you, because I
never stop learning.
I never stop learning. I do a lot of stuff on the go. There's so many trends, like you said, digital platform and transformation is an ongoing process. Is like studying medicine now. Actually, it's like becoming a doctor.
It's true.
And the reality is, Robert, that you can't keep up with all the trends. It would be almost to be able to keep up with all the trends. It's not realistic. So that's not what you want to do. That's why it's so important for you to identify who you're catering to, what is your target, what is your message, and how you're going to create that content to piggyback on your business. Create collaborations, expand your network, and of course, have visibility, Something as
Definitely.
simple as this. I made a press release and I shoot it out. You know,
Yeah. So
it's
thank you very
small,
much. Mhm.
but it gives you exposure. It make a little bit of noise on your pages on social media. People raise their hands. Oh, something is happening with Kenty. Oh, something is happening with Robert.
Right.
And it raises a little flag that there's something going on. As simple as that.
So I want to add to that actually. A lot of people don't realize that. Okay, you know how we say that things that go on the internet live forever, and people are usually talking about pictures and stuff like that. Being able to be found is so easy, especially when you blog a lot. Your stuff gets categorized by search engines, so that now if I search Kenty, there's going to be hundreds of links to her because she's done a lot of work that way. Blogs will keep working long after you've written them. So I was actually talking to someone the other day, and they were talking about, well, I kind of want to build my presence. I want to be more findable. And I said, well, you can do the hard work, which is the blogging, and that will raise your search engine profile. You're going to come up more often because the keywords that you use are the right keywords. So definitely, I wanted to just reinforce that, guys. If you blog, those blogs live forever. They keep working. They don't cost anything other than just the hosting fee, and you get found for the same keywords over and over and over again. So just wanted to interject there. Go ahead.
And another thing with blogging as well is that you can later on, let's say 6 months, 8 months from now, even a year after, you can relaunch those same blogs, those articles as new. You just remove the dates, for instance, and you post them, you repost them again. And the search engines, like you said, will pick it back up because you have done the groundwork of being present on the internet. Yes, the internet is forever, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So we try for the good and definitely the positive to remain. And our way of doing that is to be sure that your digital footprint is forever embedded in that search engine. Definitely.
So one of the things that I think is very interesting is you made a point to me about blog authenticity.
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean by that? Talk to me a little bit about that.
Okay, so again, with the overkill of information that we have coming at us from all directions, and the perception of perfection and real versus life. I mean, my baby coming in at my lap right now 5 seconds ago, we couldn't be more real than that.
Not at all.
That was an authentic moment.
Yeah.
So and that is what people and that is what people appreciate. The rehearse part, it's fading. More and more people don't want to know about what you did 3 days ago or how you planned it 2 days ago for it to be perfect. They actually want to live with you as you go and be part of your brand growing. So authenticity, being authentic really just means that you're able to inspire someone with your story or with your content to be able not only to follow you, read your content, and share it with someone. Right? That is actually what you want to do in a nutshell, because it boosts your confidence as well. You're authentic, so people look up to you. You become kind of like a role model in a very positive way. And it's important for me to people to be relatable. So if I'm plus size, although I don't condone obesity because of course there's health related issues that could hamper your life. I will not be a hypocrite about dieting because I don't diet.
Okay.
I don't diet. So whenever there's a topic about dieting, I'm very frank and very open and say, guys, I don't diet. I try to eat healthy. I try to have some activity in my life, and I try to see what I eat, but I don't believe in diets anymore. I did them and they depress me, they mess up my self-esteem.
Deprived,
it just doesn't work. I'm cranky all the time. It just doesn't work for me. So I don't diet.
Would you agree that authenticity has to do also with not being perfect?
Of course. And that's what I said, because we the world wants to sell us perfection. But what is perfection? Authentic is not perfection, because you cannot plan perfection.
Agreed.
You cannot plan, so being authentic means being real, means you being you. And the most important part of that is that people can connect to the real Kenty. I am the same as I am in this life. You will see the same Kenty on the road. You will see the same Kenty on the job. You will, if you read my blogs, you will see the same type of structure and charisma and tone within my
Right.
writing. So people translate it, it's consistently. So it would be very hard for people to say, hey, she's faking it. I possibly couldn't.
Right. And it's just easier to be the same or everywhere.
Yeah, it's easier, and it just become who you really are. You know, it becomes your part of your branding as well. The reason why people do not understand the difference between a logo and a brand is that a logo is just an image. Your brand is what it represents.
Right.
And
right.
your brand has to grow with you, right? Your logo, you can change your logo, but your brand and your mission and what you stand for, those should be
Definitely.
foundation that are instilled with your business.
So just to recap, because I know people jump in and out and things like that. So guys, if you're now joining us, the topic is blogs as a marketing tool. The first point was that, why use blogs as a marketing tool? And I think Kenty and I touched on that various different times, but the fact that it lives on forever, right? The fact that it gives you content that can always be found and refound, and it keeps working for you. That helps build your brand, whether it's a personal brand or a business brand. The next point was that having a unique perspective, because you're probably, as they like to say, there's nothing new under the sun. You are probably going to be doing something with competitors, and you need a certain perspective, and let it be your perspective. Let it be authentic. What we just touched on, let it be what you really believe in, what the brand really stands for. And that will always stand the test of time, because as Kenty said, you don't want to be portraying one thing online and then the customer experience is very different. Kenty had recommended WordPress as a good starting point. I think that's ubiquitous across the internet. If you guys want to start and you don't have a presence or a website yet, WordPress is a fantastic place to start. Welcome, Subayan and Peter Hawkins. And then blogs give you tons of collaboration and networking opportunities. Kenty reached out to me because she saw a friend of hers on the live and said, hey, let's talk. So, there is non-hard sell opportunities for any business anywhere. And that is some of the values that we could get from blogging. Are there any more questions in the chat? And Kenty, do you want to hit us with any other bits of wisdom about blogging, your experience blogging?
I think it's also important to understand that whether it's blogging or whichever business you're in or you're trying to build, it's important for people to see that you're investing in your business, right?
Okay.
That you want to give them the look or feel of a professionalism. That has nothing to do with being fake or perfecting it, but I do want you to take me serious. When I send you an email, I want my brand to stand out. I want you to take me serious. When I send your biography, I want you to be able to say, hey, there's something going on with this girl. I would like to know more about her. These are my handles. These are my social media. This is the content that I'm creating. This is my platform. So you have to be very clear about that when you're reaching out to collaborate. Make sure that your approach is very professional. I always try to, even if I've never met Robert before, I approach him. Yeah. But I saw live with Carly, and I say, hey, I think this would be an interesting platform for me to share some knowledge on different topics. And I hit him up on Instagram, and then we spoke. I exchanged email. I sent him one tip that I can tell you: when you approach for a collaboration, send as much information as you can, because when people see all of that information, they know that you mean business.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. I like that.
So your presentation, how you present it. Right now, for instance, my blog is under construction because it's been revamped after almost 5 years. I'm like, okay, we need a new look. And
you've been blogging 5 years.
Almost 5 years in February. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm very proud of that. Thank you. I'm also very proud because it has been very organic. It has been organic growth. I have never boosted any post. I have worked very hard, and it's really organic. So I'm very proud of that. Especially being a blogger in the Caribbean, where blogging is not, a tool that you see as an added value for your business.
It isn't. You're right. It isn't as popular as vloggers or podcasts or things like that. And it's strange because it's much easier to find the blog via keywords than it is to try and find maybe a podcast or a video, because they just don't have the text that is so searchable.
Correct.
So interesting. Guys, any questions in the audience?
Yes, please feel free to send it out, shoot it out. We're here to try and answer as much as we can.
Kenty, if you want to drop your, do a moment of plug, if people want to reach out to you about plus size blogging or anything along those lines, how would they get in touch with you?
So the easiest way, of course, is Instagram, Kerai Kreative Style. I'm just going to do my shirt like this because I'm always branded.
Very good.
Most of the times I'm always branded. You are your own walking billboard. Nobody has to pay you for that. Remember that. You are your own walking billboard. So most of the time I always branded. Even when I'm going town, sometimes they're like, do you really have to put on a shirt that says Kerai? I say, you never know who's going to see it and ask you something. You never know.
Very true.
Through Kerai Kreative Style on Instagram, on Facebook as well, Kerai Kreative Style. You can find me on kentylichtenberg.com. That is for the marketing aspect of it. And you can also find me on keraiCreativestyle.com, which is currently, like I said, under construction. But I am very approachable through, direct messages, Facebook, emails. Email is info@keraiCreativestyle.com as well. All of that is also on my handles. You can see the contact points, email addresses, so that you can reach out to me for collaboration, features, whatever. A simple question. I'm there to.
You're open for business.
I'm open for business, and not only in the Caribbean, not only in St.Maarten. The reason why I do this is because I have a global vision.
Okay.
I have a global. That is my objective, to ultimately be able to say, hey, this little girl from St.Maarten, a little dot in the Caribbean, make it to the news one day because of blogging. So it's hard work and dedication. Blogging is not a magic pill. Like any business, you have to put time, you have to put content into it, you have to put dedication into it. When I started to blog in St.Maarten, people was like, what are you doing? My friends were like, I don't understand. What is this thing that you're doing now, blogging?
But it works. It adds and it builds and it builds and it builds.
Yes, one of the reasons actually that I jumped into speaking engagements was because of the blogger. So because of the blog, I was approached to speak at various events, some different events, and that opened up another stream of income. Because now I can get paid to go and speak at an event, and speak about topics, whether it's marketing, whether it's women, whether it's plus size, whether it's gender. What blogging does for you is that it makes you very diverse in terms of what is happening. And if you can piggyback that to your business and your brand, it's an excellent combination. Excellent.
So, and we're just in a sort of wrap up, few minutes that we have left. If you were to give a quick roadmap to people, like, okay, you start blogging, check out WordPress. How often would you suggest? We already spoke that they should have a unique perspective. How far in advance do you think they should plan content for, and how often do you think they should blog?
If you're not a writer, a natural writer. Marketers write a lot by default. We write. We take notes. We always with a book. We always write it somewhere. So it comes natural. There you go. Yeah, I have mine as well. So
exactly.
I have one next to my nightstand. Sometimes I get up in the middle of the night and I come up with an idea and I write it down real quick because by tomorrow morning I will not remember. So those are the things that I can tell you. Have a notepad with you always around. If you're old school, I still like the feel of pen and paper. I'm sorry, it will not surpass digital.
I like it as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So create a schedule in terms of how, what, when, and your deadlines, because that means that you have a commitment to yourself and to your audience, right? In the beginning, I would suggest blog weekly to get yourself out there. Blog, connect, reach out. And one of the things that I did not mention, but I think is very important, is that we come from a culture that we are scared of rejection. So sometimes you miss out on opportunities and great collaborations and partnerships and expanding your network because you're afraid that when you send that email or when you ask that question, the person tells you no, but they could tell you yes too.
I know. Listen, I'm so glad you said that, because I keep telling people, the the answer to every question that you don't ask is no. Like, and no is not the worst thing that could happen. The worst thing that happens is they say yes, and you're like, oh God, now I have to do this.
Yeah, because I didn't expect that. But this is a cultural something, and I don't know if you agree with me. I think
Definitely.
the Caribbean is very scared in when it comes to rejection and reaching out to people. And I lived in Europe for 7-8 years, and you know, it also opened up my mind in terms of networking and reaching out and just I mean, you send an email, what's the worst I could tell you? No, you move on to the next one. It's
Exactly.
very simple. So don't be afraid of missing out on great partnerships, great branding opportunities, great visibility, exposure for you and your brand, getting your name and your business or your service out there, because you are afraid that they tell you no. So that is very important.
Jamila is saying you got to get no proof. I agree. Listen, the best way to do it is to go through it and just take the rejection, keep on moving. There's tons more opportunities out there.
Just keep it pushing. Keep it pushing.
One question. I mean, I have my answer to this, but I want to hear your perspective. How do you use anything that helps you kind of generate content? Let's say topics and headlines.
So what I do normally, because I have such a wide platform, I have women and I have plus size. So if you combine them, it could become very, very wide, right? Women have hundreds of topics that we can talk about.
No, of course, yeah.
So what I do in order to filter it down, to narrow it down, I look at the relevance of what's happening. What is happening with women? I do that on a monthly basis. What is happening on that particular platform? What is happening with the plus size?
Try to keep it trending, literally.
Try to keep it trending. Try to do it. And that is why the research comes in, because you're going to need to at some point go and find out what is happening. Pull up a link, you know, and that could go on the go. That doesn't mean that you have to, you know, spend 3-4 hours on the internet.
You write down ideas. Yeah.
You write down ideas, and your feed also tells you a lot of what's happening. Sometimes I will not go on my feed for a day. When I go in the evening and I check it, I'm like, oh my gosh, all of this happened. So then I'm like, oh, but I could piggyback on that. Oh, but I could do an article about that. Hey, this would be a good topic to have. So literally, that's what I do. I just check trends on the go.
Okay. I had done some research, and you know, as I said, I'm not a great writer, so trending is one thing, but I think what I found was very interesting is there's a website called BuzzSumo. I don't know if you've ever heard of it.
Yes, I have.
So I was doing some research, and they said, you know, if you're not sure to write what to write something called shoulder content. And shoulder content is stuff about your topic, but adjacent to it. So it's not directly specific about your industry. And it was a very interesting perspective, because like we had to, I think it was a car insurance thing. And it's really hard to write about car insurance specifically, right? Because it's not a sexy topic. But then they were like, you know, okay, here's all these articles about, you know, strange ways that you might actually void your car insurance. All of a sudden, that's a blog post. So if there's anyone there who's trying to figure out, like, well, where do I start? Trending is a great way to do it. If you're just responding to kind of what's going on, you know, that has its risks, as we saw with Diane's tea shop. But there's also, you know, I tell people, listen, sit down, take 10 minutes and write down just headlines. You don't need to write down whole blog posts. Just write down 10, 15 headlines. All of a sudden you'll have content for 3 months.
And sometimes you look around at what's happening even in your own household. I mean, right now I'm busy trying to do a post about virtual learning. How is that affecting us as mompreneurs? Yeah. Because that is really now trending. That is, you know, that is where we're going. And women are overwhelmed. I mean, I thought I was going to lose my mind 3 months ago with my kids at home and trying to be, you know, work and counselor and school and teacher while you're not equipped to be a teacher. That is a perfect subject, and that is close to home. It's relevant, it's trendy, it's educational. I'm planning to collaborate with a social worker to give me her insight on what could be done, how she can help, you know, what tips can she give the moms that are actually in this position that find it so overwhelming. So sometimes you don't even have to look that far. It could be close to home. You just have to, like you said, jot down the ideas, look around you. There may be topics that have never been discussed. We have a lot of taboo topics on the Caribbean. It's something that I hate. And there's a lot of taboo topics. You always have to see if you're not walking on eggshells and all of that type of stuff, you know, cultural incline and who feathers you're not ruffling. So you got to be careful with that. but more or less, I would say be open. Try
Yeah.
to put a list of things that you would like to put out there and put a time frame to it, because when you put a time frame to it, it means that you're going to be committed to creating that content.
Yes.
If otherwise it will just be there floating on air and I'm gonna post it eventually. Blogging, like any business, building your business is a lot of discipline. It's a lot of discipline.
Okay.
A lot of discipline. It's just like the army, because you have to push yourself on a good day and on a bad day to perform at your best.
All right. Kenty, thank you very much for your time. This was very insightful. I hope everybody else got as much of it as I did. Thank you again so much.
No,
for your
thank
time.
you.
If there's any last questions, guys, shoot them here. You can, I've already tagged her in the post, so you can get in touch with her if you want to reach out to her for anything that she's listed that she's done so far. Kerai, Kenty can talk about anything apparently, much better than I can. So thank you guys very much. As always, we'll be here every Thursday at 8 p.m. Follow, like, and subscribe
Definitely.
down below, wherever the button is. But thank you again, guys, and I will see you next week.
Thank you for having me, Robert. It was a pleasure. Thank you guys for joining us. I really hope that you have some good takeaways. And for those of you that were planning on blogging, I hope that this was the push that you needed to start your blog and to make the difference for you and your brand and your business. Good luck.
Definitely. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.